taxes off of fresh made produce. He really does. He really does think that food comes from the grocery store, not from the farmers who actually grow the produce.
Jagmeet Singh, the self-proclaimed defender of the working class, has found himself entangled in a scandal that could shake the very foundation of his political persona. For years, Singh has cultivated an image of a humble leader fighting tirelessly for struggling Canadians, but recent revelations paint a very different picture. One filled with luxury, contradictions, and political maneuvering at the expense of the very people he claims to represent. The controversy began when reports surfaced about Singh's choice of transportation, a Maserati, a luxury Italian sports car synonymous with extravagance. This isn't your typical family car. While the average Canadian grapples with inflation and rising living costs, Singh cruises in a vehicle that costs more than what most Canadians earn in a year. His justification? It was a good deal, and I needed a reliable car. Reliable? Sure. Affordable? Hardly. The optics are jarring. A man who rails against wealth inequality flaunting a symbol of opulence. Social media erupted, with Canadians labeling Singh a hypocrite. Many questioned how someone who positions himself as a champion of the underprivileged could indulge in such extravagance. The backlash wasn't just about the car, it was a symbol of a deeper disconnect between Singh's rhetoric and reality. The man who speaks passionately about helping families make ends meet is driving a car that most could never dream of owning. But the Maserati is just the tip of the iceberg. Singh's actions in Parliament are raising even more eyebrows. Recently, he voted against a tax relief measure that could have made a real difference for struggling families. The proposal aimed to suspend sales tax on essential items like groceries and children's clothing, a move that would have saved households hundreds of dollars annually. For families living paycheck to paycheck, this relief could have been a lifeline. Yet, Singh said no. When questioned, Singh attempted to deflect, claiming the measure was a political stunt by his opponents. But critics argue that his vote reveals a troubling pattern of prioritizing political strategy over the needs of everyday Canadians. His decision to oppose the tax break seemed less about principle and more about posturing against his rivals, even if it meant denying relief to those who need it most. This isn't an isolated incident. A closer look at Singh's record shows a growing gap between his words and his actions. While he speaks of fighting for the working class, his voting history tells a different story. Time and again, Singh has taken positions that seem to align more with political expediency than with the values he espouses. The revelations about Singh's lifestyle and decisions have sparked a broader conversation about accountability in politics. Canadians are starting to ask tough questions. How can a politician who claims to stand for the people justify such stark contradictions in his behavior? How much of his public persona is genuine, and how much is carefully crafted rhetoric? As the fallout from this scandal continues, it's clear that Singh's carefully constructed image is beginning to crumble. The Maserati and the tax vote are not just isolated missteps, they are symbols of a deeper issue. They challenge the narrative Singh has built around himself and force Canadians to reconsider what they thought they knew about him. The lesson here is clear. Actions speak louder than words. Politicians can make all the promises they want, but it's their choices, how they vote, how they live, and how they prioritize, that truly reveal their character. For Jagmeet Singh, those choices are speaking volumes, and Canadians are finally starting to listen. The scandal surrounding Jagmeet Singh has ignited a wave of skepticism about his authenticity and commitment to the causes he claims to champion. For many Canadians, the dissonance between his public persona as a champion of the working class and his luxurious lifestyle has shattered the image he so carefully cultivated. The Maserati is no longer just a car, it has become a symbol of a politician out of touch with the very people he professes to represent. As Singh faces mounting criticism, questions are being raised about his ability to continue leading the New Democratic Party, NDP, with credibility. The backlash isn't limited to social media tirades. It has spread into mainstream media and political discourse. His own party members are quietly questioning whether Singh's actions are eroding the NDP's core message of standing up for the underprivileged. If the party's leader is seen as more concerned with luxury and political gamesmanship than with the real needs of Canadians, what does that mean for the future of the party? Singh's critics have pointed out that his pattern of prioritizing political maneuvering over policy could alienate the very voters he needs to secure his place on the national stage. Canadians are tired of empty rhetoric and political grandstanding. They want leaders who understand their struggles and are willing to fight for meaningful change, not just those who can deliver well-crafted speeches. The backlash against Singh has also sparked a larger conversation about the growing trend of politicians living lifestyles that seem at odds with their public stances. From luxury homes to extravagant vacations, many politicians appear increasingly disconnected from the realities faced by their constituents. For Singh, the Maserati scandal is just one more example of this trend, and it may have more lasting consequences than he anticipates. As public scrutiny intensifies, Singh is likely to face increased pressure to respond in a way that can repair the damage done to his image. Some argue that he needs to acknowledge the disconnect between his words and actions, own up to his choices, and work harder to demonstrate that his political principles extend beyond just his rhetoric. Others contend that his failure to do so could irreparably damage his credibility, forcing the NDP to look elsewhere for leadership. In the coming weeks, Canadians will be watching closely as Singh attempts to navigate the fallout. Will he be able to regain their trust, or will this scandal mark the beginning of the end for his political career? Regardless of the outcome, one thing is clear. The luxury car and the tax vote have raised a critical issue about integrity in politics, and Canadians are no longer willing to overlook such contradictions. The time for empty promises has passed, and the focus is now on the actions that define a politician's true character.